Okay, what else? I got your Ninja Turtle trap.
Are we ready to go?
Is that enough?
Running late.
See you, baby.
No.
Let's go.
Where are we going?
Downtown.
No, Wisconsin.
Faster.
Wisconsin. Going to Gary's?
Very.
Gary's. Here we have the snack master in his natural habitat during travel. And a toddler wanting to watch Winnie the Pooh. Alright, buddy.
Made it. Finally in Wisconsin.
It's pretty much a south-southwest wind is what they're saying.
Yeah, and it's gonna be one. You're gonna be facing to the west.
I thought I was facing like more northeast maybe.
No, you should have been facing straight west.
That might be one of those places where I'm confused at.
What is this? Is this a swamp right here? Good morning, everybody. So it's about 4:30 in the morning and just getting around to go out hunting this morning. So in the group, there's like 5 of us hunting. Me, Brad, Gary's son Hunter. So I think we got a pretty good chance this morning of getting something on the ground and dragging something out this morning. But anyway, I'm going to a little spot that's actually a pretty far walk from the parking lot, and I'm going to ride there with Brad. And I think I got to I'm gonna cross a creek and then kind of follow this creek edge and field edge down to what looks like a little bit of a pinch near some oaks, and just sit there this morning. Hopefully something walks close enough to throw a stick at it. So, all right, let's get everything loaded up here. Oh, coyotes are sounding off. So I'm pretty close to where I'm going to sit at. I'm just kind of going to stand here for a little bit and let myself calm down. Got a little bit sweaty walking back here. It's about right at a mile to get back here, so decent walk. There should be some oaks right inside this woods here, so I may just wait around 10 or 20 minutes, enough to see where those are, and then find a tree. I actually can hear some oaks falling. So, should be a good morning. So I just kind of snuck in here, and there's quite a few oaks like all around me here. My wind should be blowing kind of back where I came from, so it shouldn't be too bad. The only thing is I kind of blew in here a little bit farther than I wanted, but it is what it is when it's a new spot and it's dark. Not much you can do, but I'm just going to hop up here in this tree and wait for the moon to go down and the sun to come up. It's opening day. That could be a song or something. Well, you can see behind me, it's cracking daylight now. It's pretty well legal light, but I don't know if I could actually shoot anything. It'd have to be real close. Essentially the spot I'm at right now, there's a bunch of CRP fields and like old wheat fields
fields that I walked in on, and there's a kind of a inside corner over in here that kind of pinches down into these oaks that are out in here. So as you can kind of see, the understory is super thick. So
All right, heading in for the evening hunt. Gary's gonna use a kayak, so we're gonna go a little early, and I'm gonna help him get the kayak to the river. Then I'm heading in. Dragging Gary's kayak back here to the river. The drag's pretty far. I don't know how far, a quarter mile or so.
yeah.
But short kayak trip, but anyway, we're getting here.
Get in there.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I don't want to. It's watercress. I can't reach it. That's watercress.
What is it gonna do? Give me like some type of diarrhea?
No, it's
You said eat it?
it's bitter. All right, ready? Good luck. All right, onward.
So before I get down in here too far, I just was gonna kind of explain what's going on here. It's a little bit of an overlooked spot right off the road. You can probably hear the highway behind me, but there's a swamp down in here, and then just you can see all the oaks up here and this hardwoods. So I'm just kind of gonna skirt the edge of this swamp down here until I see some good sign coming out and feel like I have a good spot to set up, and then shoot me a deer.
I'm just really taking my time getting in here, making sure everything is perfect. The wind is really good, so I'm gonna keep sneaking in here. I don't know what that was. Lots of tracks coming out of the swamp right here. I'm just gonna slowly make my way into the swamp a little bit and get set up then. So there's a really good trail that comes out from the swamp right back in there and kind of crosses right there and then goes up into these oaks. But something you may or may not be able to see in the video, but there's a really hard transition in this swamp that goes from kind of this fern stuff, whatever it's called, to some more pines to the left. So I could also see some deer traveling down that transition right there, and then circling around all that brush and junk and going up that way. And right there is where all that sign was, where the brush kind of pinches the swamp together right there. So I got, pretty good amount of sign coming from that way. And I feel pretty good about this spot. There is an old ladder right there, but I don't think it's been used for years. In fact, there's not even straps on it anymore, so probably a non-issue. But it seems like a really good spot. So it's 4 o'clock now, so got plenty of time to get back up in the tree and get settled in. all set up now. It's about 4:20, so I got, whenever it gets dark, I think around 7:15 or so. But I'll show you a little bit better view from up here now. You can see that transition I was talking about right there. There's a whole bunch of nasty brushy stuff over in here that I think the deer are going to want to walk around, and they go right up through there, up into those oaks and that hardwoods up there. There's also a really good trail coming from back in there and crossing right down through there and then going up into those hardwoods. So I'm in a really good spot where I think I have multiple options of shooting depending on where the deer come from. And I'm also 15 yards from that trail, and then between 5 and 10 yards to that one down there. So nice and close for a trad bow shot. The wind's being a bit swirly in here, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it. I think it's just the way it is today, with this like a little front coming through and just swirling. So hopefully it doesn't swirl too much this evening. That's it for opening day. Nothing tonight. I didn't feel good about the wind the whole time I sat up here. It just kept doing weird little things where it'd blow back into the swamp every now and again. And it got progressively more windy as the evening went on. It just got worse and worse. But tomorrow's a new day, though. Supposed to get a little bit of rain. Tomorrow will be a good day. I did think I heard something way back in here behind me, like 50 yards or so, but can't see that far.
Dragging the canoe out again. Alright, I got my canoe and I'm heading in. I'm going in a different direction. Gary did. He went to the right, I'm going to the left tonight, so pretty much as remote you can get on this property. Should be a good one in there, I think, or doe. See you, Gary.
Alright, the kayak is docked. We're going to sneak into this there's an oak patch on this island, and the only decent way of getting into it is with a kayak. I don't really have any worries about anybody else coming back here, knock on wood, but it's really thick right here by the river, so I kind of got to slowly creep my way in. And then the oaks are not very far from here. I probably only have to walk about 50 yards to get where I need to sit at. So let's go in there now. Alright, so I actually buzzed in there, and there was a trail camera and a cell camera. Not that much deer sign and no oaks falling. So if I'm not seeing sign, I'm not going to set up. I'm going to keep on working my way down to the river. There's a couple other spots down the way. Kind of running out of time, but no big deal. I got 2 more days after this to figure out something, so I'm not going to waste my time in a spot I don't feel good. Alright, back in action. It only took me like 5 minutes to buzz down to the next little spot, so I'm just on the other side of that island I was at. And trying to catch him coming out to this other island that's over here, so I'm going to just sneak through the swamp here and see if I can find any good signs, get set up. I found me another spot here. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but that island that I was just in is right over there. So I'm kind of in an island behind me over here, and there's quite a few just trails coming through here. So I mean, there's all kinds of trails there. Right there in front of me, there's a good one right over there too. So I'm gonna get get up in this dead ash tree. Just get up enough to where this brush here is covering me and everything. See what happens. Maybe with that pressure on that island, they'll be bedding and coming this way instead of going to that one. Plus, there wasn't any oaks falling in that oak tree. So, it is what it is. Get set up now and wait it out. All set up again. Show you guys around a little bit here. You can see the transition in the swamp right through there. That island I was on is just over there. And those trails, there's just trails coming all through here and one coming through there. And they're all within longbow distance. Just gotta get something to come in now. I got a doe tag burning a hole in my pocket pretty bad. I'm not very high off the ground, you can see here. I don't know, maybe 10 feet. Just a couple sticks up here. If I got any higher, I used to have a lot of awkward stuff up there, and this height let me get like right in the line of the all the brush. You can see there, all this behind me here, where if I got up higher, I was really silhouetted. So I think I'm in a perfect spot right now. I gotta be odd to stand up before they get in here. I'm a little bit cramped to shoot my longbow sitting down right here, but that's all right. All right, let's see if anything comes in tonight. There's a doe right there inside the brush. She's kind of making her way out here. I'll definitely take her if she comes this way. Dang mosquitoes are bad. But legal light's just about up, so if something comes in pretty quick here, that's the only way I get a shot at one. But finally saw a doe tonight, so that's a plus. Got to take a nice boat ride, so that's also a plus. But I'm gonna kind of sneak down and get back to the kayak and start rowing home. Just go ahead and get one tomorrow, I guess.
All right. Evening number 3, set number 4. Going to a little spot that's kind of different than what I'm used to hunting in Wisconsin. A little bit of hill country here. Very faint hill country compared to what I'm used to in Indiana. There is a couple of squirrel hunters sitting here that I'm pretty sure they're squirrel hunting. No big deal. But I got a little bit of a walk down this hiking trail. And it's essentially just some a clear cut, an area in between a couple of clear cuts that has a lot of bedding around it that a buddy of mine, Zach, kind of guided me to and told me I ought to go in here and check it out. So I'm going to head in here and see what I see.
So I'm just kind of making my way through the hills here, getting around where I want to hunt at tonight. Where I'm going is not that far from the road, but the way the wind is blowing, I actually had to circle all the way around, because if I had to come in from off the road up to my spot that I'm going to look at, my wind would have been blowing right straight into where I presume the deer are going to be bedding at tonight. So I kind of got to make a long trip around, but no big deal. Alright, I'll show you what I got going on here. You can see this scrape right here. And this is the spot my buddy Zank told me about. He actually has a camera in this tree right there. But on top of this little ridge, there's actually like a little bowl in the ridge, which is a little bit unique. And there's oaks falling in here right now. You can see all the oak trees. Right now, we have a north wind, which is kind of blowing down this way. And it's supposed to change to southwest, which will end up blowing my wind up that way, away from the scrape. The reason I'm kind of choosing this side of the scrape is because I think if I got up in there too far, my thermals would drop down into this little bowl. Whereas if I sit here in this tree right here, I think my thermals will drop down into this valley tonight. So the wind is really calm, which isn't that good, but it is what it is. It's kind of my only option tonight, obviously. So I'm excited about tonight, though. I think it's going to be a good evening. I think I got a good tree picked out, and hopefully the nice buck comes in tonight. All right, now to show you kind of what I got going on here. So here's that little bowl I was telling you about, and that scrape is right here at whatever 8 yards, which is good for the longbow. You could just hear the white oaks falling through here, and I like this little bowl that I could see them walking down this thing to kind of go out this way or feed somewhere back in there. There's a clear cut right over the hill, not too far down there. There's also one back in here a little farther. So I'm kind of in between two bedding areas here, so that's pretty good. But all right, let's get all situated and wait it out. There's definitely a squirrel hunter just right over here. He just shot real close to me here. I heard him off in the distance earlier, but he's made his way closer to me now. Oh well, is what it is. I think deer hunters sometimes are babies when it comes to other people in the woods. A squirrel hunter has just as much right to sit underneath this tree and squirrel hunt as I do deer hunt. No reason to get mad or upset. If you were into squirrel hunting, you'd probably want to be squirrel hunting on your public land too, so calm down a little bit. Just had a squirrel hunter walk up here on the ridge. I tried to get him to see me, but I couldn't tell if he did or not. But it looked like he turned around and went the other way, so I mostly wanted him to see me so he didn't shoot over this way, but I think I'm okay. A lot of squirrels in here. That's probably not a great omen for seeing a deer tonight, but if he would have stayed down on that other ridge, I wouldn't have been worried about it, but he's kind of walking pretty close to where I kind of thought the deer would come from tonight. There's a clear cut like 100 yards at east between me and the clear cut, so oh well. Maybe he'll jump one and he'll run to me.
Final evening of my Wisconsin early season hunt here. This morning it absolutely poured all morning long, pretty much from daylight until about 10 o'clock. And then we had a little gap in the rain, and then about an hour and a half ago, it rained again. So I'm thinking this evening maybe them deer will be up on their feet, trying to dry off and whatnot. It seems like a little better deer movement after a rain. Anywho, where I'm going tonight is this big swamp that has some private ag fields that are in alfalfa butting up to it. And I'm just going to walk kind of the transition of the swamp until I find really good sign and set up on it. Tonight's my final night. Going to shoot a doe or even just a decent buck. So excited about the night. It's kind of hot. It's been really hot all A lot of the 4 days I was here, I think the average temperature was 15 degrees hotter, or the temperature was 15 degrees hotter than the average temperature. So whatever that is to you, it's just a fact, I guess. Just it was hot. So gonna go get in there for the final sit. Let's do it. Dana probably just pick these up right here and go home. Eat puffballs tonight. Whew. It's hot and thick in here. I want to keep on pushing a little farther. It's just too thick right here. I don't think I'd be able to even shoot really. So keep on moving here. So I was kind of back in there, about 100 yards. I just didn't feel good about the spot, and there wasn't any sign. So I kind of shifted around a little bit and got in here a little deeper, and the sign started to pick up. And I got to this point right here where the trail Ys. One goes that way, and one goes that way. I came around here to get up in this tree right here, and something just jumped up right in here and ran back into the swamp. I'm either gonna just set up right here or push in another 50 or so yards and then set up. Just gotta decide on what I want to do. It was a nice one, I knew it was. I'm gonna just get up here a little farther and set up. I kind of moved over to what would be my west, because that's kind of the way he ran, and I could see him this evening trying to circle around me. But dang it. It always happens the last evening you're gonna hunt. You start to find deer, or you find a nice deer. Alright, I'm going to kind of show you what's going through my mind right now. So, I made it up to this opening right here, and it's by far the biggest opening I've found so far. I'm probably, from where I heard that buck jump up, I was standing right over here, and it sounded like he jumped up right over in here somewhere. So, instead of setting up over there by his bed, I think with the way the wind is, my only chance maybe tonight is if he ends up circling around to come downwind of me. And to go out to those crop fields that are back in there. So in this opening, I have a south wind that's coming this way. That's blowing across this opening. And you may think like I should sit on that side of the opening, but there's like 0 trees to where I get shots this way, and then over in here where I think he's probably going to come from. So I end up picking this wonky tree right here, so that I can get a shot if they step out over there, or if they come through right here. And everything kind of converges right there, and then goes that way. I did walk right down through this area right here, so I'm hoping I'll get a shot at them over there before they get to my scent, and then obviously I'll have to get a shot at them over here before they get downwind of me, which is that way. Sounds good in my head at least. We'll see what happens. Give you a little tip. If you shoot with your quiver on, try to put your number 1 arrow that you're going to put on your bow the farthest away from you. So this arrow right here is the one I always use first.
reason is if I shoot, I have to make a follow-up shot. I got real quick access to this one right here. Instead of having to reach all the way in the front of your quiver, you're saving. So I'm minute about a time, but it could be all the difference in the world. And a deer seeing you doing this versus doing this. So, just a quick tip. If you don't get anything else from this video, because we haven't seen deer, and it's been hot, and pretty uneventful hunt, at least you got that out of it. The wind just seems like it's opposite of what it's supposed to be, but weird. It's gonna work out either way, I think. 'Cause maybe the deer will be bedding back in here and come my way instead, so no reason to worry about it now. But this whole kind of walk-in has been a cluster and the setup and everything, but I'm good and hidden up here. I love this tree. It's a nice tree with 3 different trunks and all kinds of cover. They're not gonna be able to see me, but the wind. If a guy could get that figured out every time, then you'd have something. This wind is horrible. I'm gonna move back a little bit, try to get it coming away from all these trails. It's gonna take me a minute, but I think it's gonna be worth it.
My mic battery died in the next few clips here, so I was just going to paraphrase what was going on. I ended up moving back about 30 yards to the other side of the clear cut to get my wind a little better, but it still kind of was swirling around in that opening. Shortly after I got set up, button buck ended up coming in to my setup right underneath my stand, essentially. Then a group of does was going to come in on the exact same trail as the button buck, but they never felt comfortable enough to come into my opening and ended up turning around and walking away.
Well, my final minute or two of light is dwindling away. I felt like if I could have spent a little more time in this here swamp, I probably could have got one. There's a lot of deer in here. There was those 2 I saw come in. I think the second one that came in probably had a doe behind it. It looked like a fawn and a doe. And then, right before dark here, I could hear more walking around back in here. Just couldn't see. I can only see 20 yards. So, definitely going to share pins with some of my buddies that live around here. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And, yeah, like and subscribe. See you guys on the next one.